Hi, I'm Cecil Maranville, and you're listening to Verse by Verse. Many people today champion being free, by which they mean that they consider themselves free to follow their impulses and their whims without any sense of constraint by an outside authority. Anything goes, anything in grooming, in entertainment, in relationships, in lifestyle. How did our world come to think this way? The answer is found in today's episode. This verse tells of the Roman world of millennia ago, but as we will see, the past explains the present. The first chapter of Romans describes an intellectually developed but morally impoverished world. It was a world guided by deep-thinking, well-educated philosophers whose life choices were self-indulgent, decadent, immoral, and depraved. The verse we want to look at is Romans chapter 1, verse 21. Because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were they thankful, but became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Paul was writing about cultural leaders of the day. They were in no way part of the Christian faith. How then could they know God? The Bible shows that God must call or draw a person before he or she can know God and become his son or daughter. Jesus said, "No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him." You find that in John 6, verse 44. In another of Paul's epistles, he wrote of the wisdom of God being a mystery and hidden from humanity. He explained that God had to supernaturally activate the mind's ability to understand spiritual truths. Otherwise, people were locked out from this knowledge of God. The cultural leaders of ancient Rome were not spiritual children of God. Romans 1 verse 20 shows that they were the educated and the educators, professional men and women well versed in the knowledge of the day. How then did they know God? As one commentary says, this knowledge is called natural revelation because it is seen in the created world, is accessible to the entire human race, and is not dealing with salvation. They knew that there was a supreme designer merely from seeing the evidence of his design in every aspect of creation. Our delicately balanced earth, all plant and animal life, the human mind, and the human body are all intricately designed, infinitely more than, say, an automobile. Yet no intelligent person would look at a car and conclude, this complex machine just happened to come together out of nothing. Paul's point is that no intelligent person could look at the creation and fail to know that it has a creator. The key to understanding their world, and ours, is what they did with that knowledge. Romans 1 verse 21 tells us that they made two choices. First, they did not glorify God as God, and second, they were not thankful to God. To glorify God as God would have meant acknowledging him not only as the Creator, but also as their Creator. If you acknowledge God as your personal Creator, you recognize his preeminence over your life, over your views, over your opinions, over your thoughts. Anyone who truly glorifies God as his Maker would consequently submit to God's direction in life. Likewise, that person would also be thankful to God for life itself and for the innumerable benefits that God gives every moment of every day. The more thankful a person is to his Creator, the stronger his or her personal relationship with God will be. The choices those societal influencers of whom Paul wrote brought about two distinct consequences. First, they became futile in their thoughts, that is, their imaginations, their reasonings, their speculations. Became futile literally means became worthless, without purpose in a moral sense. The second consequence is that their foolish hearts were darkened. Foolish means morally senseless or undiscerning. In plain language, they lost their moral minds. Note this summary by theologian William Barclay. What did the sinner do? Instead of looking out to God, he looked into himself. He involved himself in vain speculations and thought he was wise while all the time he was a fool. Why? because he made his ideas, his opinions, his speculations the standard and the law of life instead of the will of God. The sinner's folly consisted in making man the master of things. He found his standards in his own opinions and not in the laws of God." End of quote. Now we return our thoughts to today's world. What do people today choose to do with this knowledge? Sadly, most continue making the same choices made by humanity millennia ago. They do not glorify God as God, and they are not thankful to Him. That's why our world is the way that it is.
Verse by Verse is a companion podcast to the Daily Bible Verse blog, which you can find on the Life, Hope, and Truth Learning Center. Check out the show notes for more.